give me
Recording in progress.
We're going to call this administrative review meeting to order on the date of February 14th, 2024. Review the minutes and they stand approved for January 24th, 2024. We have one item on the agenda, and that's the Hadlock Subdivision Second Amendment. And Tammy, you're going to be presenting.
Just kind of a brief history. This Hadlock Subdivision Second Amendment came before you back on December 20th for administrative approval. The road alignment, the proposed road alignment was different than what is shown here. And so the applicant is back for an administrative approval again because they are proposing a different road alignment than their previous approval. So what is being proposed, let me just kind of give you a little bit of background so we've got that for the record. This is a request for final approval of Hadlock Subdivision Second Amendment located in the AV3 zone, consisting of 6 acres and located at approximately 2965 East, 5100 North, or Shaw Drive in Liberty, Utah. The applicant is proposing 2 lots in a connectivity incentivized subdivision. When you look at the plat, just to let you know, this will be on septic and on a well. Applicant will be drilling wells for this subdivision. When you look at this plat, in the First Amendment of the Hadlock Subdivision, 2950 East was dedicated from Shaw Drive. It comes down from the north and hits the proposed Lot 2. What is being proposed is a continuation of 2950 East, and on that original dedication plat of the First Amendment, this area shown along the northern boundary of Lot 2 was simply labeled as future right-of-way. So through this Second Amendment, the applicant is actually dedicating this right-of-way to Weber County. To the north side of that boundary of Lot 2 is still going to be shown as future right-of-way, so that when additional development occurs, that right-of-way will be dedicated at that time. The applicant is proposing access for both lots off of Shaw Drive or 5100 North with a shared private lane. The specifications of this lane will have to adhere to fire standard. So they're proposing a hammerhead, and of course we would recommend approval based upon review agency requirements, and those would include the Weber County Surveyor's Office, Weber Fire District, Weber Morgan Health Department, Weber County Planning, as well as Weber. There are some easements that are shown on this plat as well. One of them is a 15-foot drainage easement that actually will overlap with the dedicated right-of-way. Something I wanted to...
Is that that?
Something to point out with that dedicated right-of-way is we are not requiring installation of that right-of-way at this time. Where the applicant is proposing to take the access for both lots off of Shaw Drive, we will record a covenant to both lots stating that they are allowed only one access. At some point in the future, whoever develops that land to the west and north will be required to install likely 2950 East, as well as the continuation of that onto Lot 2 and their own property as well. I think county engineering has also required a deferral agreement to bring Shaw Drive up to county standard when they deem it necessary. And we would recommend approval based upon the condition located in the staff report, which is that a substandard road agreement along with a deferral agreement will need to be signed prior to recording the final plat, and based on the findings that the proposed subdivision conforms to the Ogden Valley General Plan and that it complies with applicable county ordinances.
So originally, this has changed so many different times. Just help refresh my memory.
Sure. So, I'm going to pull up something. Let me pull up the dedication plat for the First Amendment real quick, okay? When Hadlock Subdivision First Amendment came through and they proposed 3 residential lots and 3 ag parcels, we required dedication of 2950 East down to the parcel boundaries here. So this is where the original dedication came down to, okay, for 2950 East. then what we had them label was a future right-of-way. And once it got down to this 6-acre piece that's being developed now, we had them straddle that so that the northern boundary of this parcel was the center line for that future right-of-way.
Okay.
What the applicant initially proposed when they came in for their second amendment is they initially proposed shifting that right-of-way so that only 15 feet of it was on their lot, was on their property, and 51 feet would fall to the north. Now, the owner to the north has filed an appeal to that decision, and I think the owner to the north and the applicant for this have come to an agreement so that the applicant for the second amendment has come back with another proposal seeking another approval that shifts that right-of-way back onto both parcels equally.
So you
Does
think
that make
they're
sense?
both happy with this proposal? I wouldn't say happy.
Do you want
but
me to speak to the appeal that's been filed
is
in
it
this
still
meeting?
here?
So staff has advised the applicant, the planner who's over that appeal application, staff has advised the applicant for the appeal to hold off on officially withdrawing their appeal until approvals take place today so they know what was finally approved.
Okay.
Staff has also advised that applicant to look at this proposed final plat and make sure they don't have any other issues.
Okay.
And if they don't, then at that time we will look for something in writing
Okay.
withdrawing their application.
Okay. Well, that looks fair to have 33 on, on this side and 33 feet on the adjacent property owner side. That just looks more fair, but I mean, that is a big thing to ask of him because he's bringing that down to that area.
Well, and initially, the applicant was looking to use this as their access to the rear lot as well.
But
So
that's where that's.
yeah, so he was going to have to install at
Oh,
minimum
okay.
up to fire standard all of 2950 East, all the way down to his lot boundary, and then dedicate, which is why proportionately we looked at it and thought 15 feet on his side was likely equitable, given the minimal impact, because he can't further subdivide this, right? In the end, he decided not to do this. He will now install this private lane.
And then do the 33 feet here. Okay.
Yeah, so he won't be
I'm good
installing
with
that,
that.
but dedicating.
Okay, that
Does that
seems
work?
fair and roughly proportionate. So I'm going to recommend approval of this, subject to the conditions and the findings outlined in the staff report. And this item stands approved. Thanks, Tammy.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, June. This might be your last AR meeting.
I think we have one on the 28th.
Yes.
We do.
Nice. That's good. Send you out with a bang.
One more time.
Hey, so the Orchards Phase 1, Lacey Richards got with me. Tell me if this sounds familiar, because this was not my project back then.
Rick, will you please say adjourn?
Oh, this meeting stands adjourned. Thank you, June.
The applicant seemed to think
Recording
that
stopped.
Steve suggested breaking out the dedication of JDC Parkway from the subdivision. Does that sound familiar? Because I can't find any documentation to that effect.